No doubt, the best thing to do was ignore her cousins. But Edith Donne had never been good at holding her tongue, and certainly not when the topic of conversation was love and marriage. Edith thinks herself quite above falling in love. Her cousin, Mercy Kennett, shot Edith a provoking glance, eyebrow tipped up and a hint of mischief in her eye. But that was also the case for Sarah Brayley, and look at her now. Edith satisfied herself with a slight roll of the eyes, letting the periodical in her hand fall open and tipping it so that the candlelight fell upon it. She knew Sarah Brayley, or rather Sarah Pickard, since her surrender, and knew her well enough to take issue with the comparison. She kept her eyes on the periodical as she responded with a bite to her tone.
Yes, Sarah was very vocal in her supposed protestations against love.
Supposed protestations, Mercy said with a laugh. Edith looked up, meeting her cousin's scepticism with a clear gaze.
Certainly.
They sounded very convincing to me. Edith's cousin, Viola Paunce, was curled up in the window seat, the customary book open in her lap. Her finger was poised on the page, keeping her place. The curtains were pulled back from the window behind her, revealing an evening landscape washed in twilight's soft blues and the deeper shades of rain clouds. Edith let out a little scoff, nodding at the book in Viola's lap.
You are reading Hamlet, are you not? Can you not tell an Osric when you see one, then? All affectation and pretense. Sarah's act was nothing but ill-disguised despair of ever finding love. Those protestations were a manipulative way to garner attention. They were a cry for love, not a determination against it. Only look how quickly she submitted to Mr. Pickard's attentions, and with what haste she agreed to marry him once he began fawning over her. She returned to her perusal of the periodical, content that she had made her point. How her cousins managed to doubt her sincerity, comparing her even to Sarah Pickard of all people, was beyond Edith's understanding. No matter how firm and steady she was in her opinions, they seemed to think she simply hadn't yet found the right gentleman to pique her interest. With time, they would know better, but Edith couldn't help wishing that they would simply believe her. The two men were lingering over their port, and Edith would have been content for them to do so for some time yet. She had nothing against Mercy's husband Solomon. Indeed, she liked him very well, but she preferred spending time with Mercy without the displays of mutual affection that the couple was wont to engage in. In a few short weeks, Mercy and Solomon would sail for Jamaica, and Edith didn't know when she would see her cousin again. "But you have truly never fallen in love?" Viola looked puzzled as she asked the question. Edith smiled widely and shook her head. Terribly provoking of me, isn't it?
She came up beside Viola, a hand on the curtain as she watched raindrops speckling the window. Provoking, no. Viola's frown deepened. It is just that...
It offends your sensibilities. I quite understand.
Edith gave Viola a teasing pat on the shoulder.
But don't let it trouble you, love. I am an anomaly, you know.
Only because you choose to be. Mercy perused the music sheets on top of the piano.
What's this now?
Edith said in a rallying tone, folding her arms.
I had thought that at least you understood me.
Mercy smiled and set down the page she held, tilting her head to the side in thought.
Yes, well, that was before I was married. Now I know what you were missing by holding so tightly to your cynicism.
Edith didn't respond. She couldn't deny that Mercy was at her happiest since marrying, and Edith wasn't so steeped in her cynicism, so determined to make others miserable, that she had any intention of saying what dissatisfaction she foresaw. Indeed, she hoped for Mercy's sake that she would be proven wrong. But she had watched it happen too many times to believe that even two such decent people as Mercy and Solomon would be immune to it. Edith lived in a house where it was evidenced daily in the interactions of her own parents. Even those marriages that started out happily, and Edith suspected there were fewer of them than people wished her to believe, invariably became less so with time. She had come to the conclusion that this was a result of people misunderstanding their own motivations in marrying. Marriage in the name of love sounded much more noble than marriage in the name of convenience, but the truth was, they were both selfish